Hey there, and welcome to Let's Gay 1994, the show where I'm basically doing a giant rewatch of the entire year of 1994. Um, this week, or this episode, is going to cover January 4th, which is a Tuesday, which also happens to be in the early 90s. New Comic Book Day was actually on a Tuesday, I believe. It's before I really, I didn't start regularly going to a comic book store until high school, probably, and that was when it was Wednesdays. Of course, it's still Wednesdays today, except for that brief moment when DC decided we're gonna do it Tuesday, but thank God they stopped that. But I have some comics here from my pull list that we're gonna discuss. So it's not gonna be a fully comprehensive comic book review or rewatch or reread, I guess we'd call it. But I'm a big Marvel geek, so that's mainly what I've got here with me. I read a couple Superman books right now in 1994, but since the reign of Superman, I'm just not really that big on the books. Or the reign of the Supermen. That storyline was like really fucking cool. And right now, Green Lantern is also going through his dark phase, where Kyle Rayner is taking over as Green Lantern from Hal. So that's actually really good shit. I'm excited to keep reading that. I just don't have any of those comics with me. I just grabbed my Marvel comics. Next week I'll try to be more prepared, or next Tuesday I should say. But let's start just with some of the books I got and I'm reading. We've got Cable, and this is his first solo series. It's really kind of all over the place when it first starts, I feel like, at least artistically. Art Tyber, however you say his name, did the first like 3 issues, then he left, and we got, I think, not Dwayne Turner. It was someone else, maybe with the name Turner. I forget the guy's name. Or no, it was a W name. Who cares? He was on it for a couple, doing the Sons and shit of Magneto. This is MC Wyman that did the cover. Let's open it up and find out who actually did the art. I believe Fabian Nicieza, if that's how you say his name, has been writing Cable. And the pages are just... Sorry, let's get it on camera. They're so nice and white and glossy, even after all these years. It's like they used a different paper stock to print these on, that is just so much nicer than a lot of the other newsprint comics at the time, which is why it's probably $2 versus $1.25. So, this is MC Wyman that did this issue, but I love this 90s look. He's got a great 90s look. This is Rachel before she disappears. She's not going to be around much longer, but she was still around. But obviously this one deals with, well, Excalibur guest stars, which is awesome to see. I love. This was around when Excalibur started becoming, they really wanted to fold it more into the X universe so that it kind of always stood on its own on the outskirts, because it was all the way over in England. So they never really, and it was more humorous sometimes and just a weirder, like, wacky book until around 93, I think, is when they made that transition. When Alan Davis left the book, they decided to tie it closer into the other X titles, into the X family. So they're crossing over a lot more. They got rid of half the cast, although most of them come back, but it's like just Rachel, Nightcrawler, and Phoenix right now. Oh, the stupid, my green screen might fuck up if there's someone green on here. I don't know what's gonna happen if I have the Hulk in the book. It'll just show right through him. Anyway, yeah, it's just great 90s-tastic stuff. Cable versus Omega Red. So that's it for Cable. Let's put our comics back nice and safe in our bags and boards. We must protect the comics. Captain America was new. This is a weird title that I strangely really like. I don't have a lot of patience for these old books anymore, and I'm like getting rid of a lot of the ones that I'm like, why am I collecting this shit? But Mark Gruenwald's run on Cap, I actually really kind of like. I like his writing style. He, like Tom DeFalco, is just kind of solid. I really dig their stuff. It's just, unfortunately, Mark Gruenwald doesn't get the hot artists like the X books do. So I'm not sure who's really doing the art right now. This was a big anniversary issue of Cap. What do they call it? Embossed 3D. I don't know what they call this kind of cover where it's like it's 3D. But this is around, I think, when he gets the Cap armor, which is super lame, but it's very 90s. But I loved these old covers that would shine and are 3D embossed and shit. I love, people are like, oh, it's such a gimmick. That's the kind of gimmick I want, not your fucking like bullshit decompression gimmick that they do these days, or like event fatigue shit. Speaking of events, and there was event fatigue of the '90s for sure. Starblast crossovers going on, and Namor is part of that crossover. I dug the Namor book while John Byrne was writing it. Jay Lee's art was really cool in the start of it, but it became so dark and muddy that you couldn't tell what the fuck was happening. So I stopped reading when it was Bob Harris writing for because Bob Harris isn't that great of a writer. I'm sorry. I liked his run as editor in chief, even though apparently he was really people hated him, I guess, that worked under him. Um, but Tom DeFalco, I think at this point in time, is still the editor in chief, who's just produces some of the most amazing shit. I'm like, why isn't he in a bigger position today? So, but the Starblast crossover was an interesting one, I believe, spearheaded by Mark Grunwald, where it has these aliens coming looking for, I guess, the Star Fort, or what is it called? It always comes back from the new universe, the Star Brand. And right now, Quasar's girlfriend Kayla has it. So she has been kidnapped by aliens, but there's also this other storyline going on Earth where these like mind control aliens thing has on, they're uh they're causing some mischief in the oceans. So the Fantastic Four ties in to the Namor stuff that's going on in the sea, and I forget what other ones might follow the sea adventures, but solid. Like I like these issues of Namor that have them. I mean, I was thinking maybe I should keep reading it after this because Jeff Isherwood is either the artist or the writer, I forget, but it's actually I like it a lot more now that Jay Lee and Bob Harris have left. So but Starblast is fun. It's definitely one of the least remembered crossovers of the '90s, that's for sure. Ren and Stimpy, you gotta keep reading your Ren and Stimpy. The comic's fun. Dan Slott has some issues. Um, and Dan Slott is best known for his run in Spider-Man and She-Hulk. That's where I fell in love with him during his She-Hulk run, which you might recognize me from a little show called She-Hulk. I had a little cameo. Just I never really promote myself in that way. But that was the honor of my life to be on that, to have my little cameo on She-Hulk. But yeah, Ren and Stimpy, great fun book, but Dan Slott's issues are usually the strongest. I'm not sure if he did this one or not, but and check out these great ads for the Spider-Man X-Men game. Spider-Man 2099 is going on right now. This is my second read through of the series, and I'm actually a little disappointed with it. Each issue just seems like it's the same thing over and over. Like Peter's fighting above New York and then he falls into the slums. Peter's fighting the Vulture, then he falls into the slums. He's just always falling. Am I crazy for thinking that happens all the time in this book? And none of the villains really stand out. I feel like it's just I love Peter David, and I like Rick Leonardi, if that's how you say his name. But I'm not crazy about this. I like the X-Men 2099 book way better than Spider-Man. Oh, here's the actual like main Starblast crossover book. I don't think I have all the issues. Oh, look, it is doing the background thing. It turns into you can see right through me. But this was the actual book itself, which has terrible art. I was like, couldn't they at least get Ron Lim to do the fucking crossover? I mean, he can do Infinity War and X-Men 2099 and Silver Surfer. Take him off one of those and put him on Starblast, for Christ's sake. And last but not least, the best book on the stands, Uncanny fucking X-Men. This issue and this run, like, is so phenomenal and underrated. I mean, obviously, with X-Men 97 going on right now, season 2 is, of course, currently airing as of this video's recording and posting. And these 90s comics by Scott Lobdell can't fucking be beat. I wish they could get him to come back. Him and Chris Claremont were just had two of the greatest runs on the series and artistically could not be beat either. This was John Romita's second return to the book, or his return to the book, where his art was the best of his career during his X-Men run. I think around this time he also did the Daredevil Man Without Fear miniseries and a Punisher, I think, miniseries, and he was in the Cable 2-issue miniseries. He was just on fire and doing some of his best work of his life. And I've read somewhere that he doesn't like doing the X-Men, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, because it's the best fucking work you've done in your career. I like his old 80s run too, but this issue is a pre-wedding issue for when Scott and Jean get married, where Cable comes and him and Scott bond a little, and I think he either invites him to the wedding or wants him to be involved somehow. I don't know. There's wedding talk, but then the Executioner shows up to the mansion. I forget why he's there, but they fight him. It's all this old stuff, though. Rereading it, it still stands up. It's still so good. Do yourself a favor and find back issues if you can. Some of those epic collections are great because they're very comprehensive, but the when it comes to old stuff that I read, a lot of it, as I mentioned, I'm just like, God, this is terrible. Let me get rid of it. The X books fucking hold up. The 90s were so good. That's why X-Men 97 is such a hit. The source material. Because and I've always said this, the comics need to be dictating the movies. Not the movies dictating the comics. Like what happens in the comics. That's where we get shit. That's why Marvel's kind of in the toilet right now. The comics anyway, they've got some good stuff, but when they start making, like when the first X-Men movie came out and they started making Mystique scaly and shit, I was like, what are you fucking doing? Of course they had to reverse it. It should never be that way. It's always more successful when the comics influence the movies. We don't want it the other way around. And that's why X-Men 97 is so fucking good, because they are taking shit right out of the comics. Thank them more than Beau DeMaio. Scott Lobdell, Fabian Nicieza, Chris Claremont, they're the real geniuses behind this fucking shit. So, Louise Simonson, can't forget her. Those are probably my biggest, those are my favorite X-Men writers that I really just love and credit with crafting so many great stories that are still so good today. So anyway, that wraps up our comic books for the day, except for a little comic way over across the sea in Japan called Ranma 1/2. Tuesdays, I think, is when Shonen Jump comes out. Shonen Sunday. Oh shit, I lost my thing. Sorry. It is. Wait. Oh shoot. What? I didn't even get all the shows I needed for this. Anyway, so Ranma 1/2 should come out. Oh no, we're on Tuesday. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Wednesday. Haha. Sorry, this is unedited. But anyway, Ranma comes out. It's weekly Shonen Sunday on Tuesdays. I was all confused because they're looking like Melrose Place is out today because I'm thinking comics Wednesday. No, Melrose is tomorrow or next week. Sorry, we'll get there for Wednesday. But Ranma comes out Tuesdays. I again don't know for sure the release dates on manga. It's a little hard to tell, so I just basically guess. And Get Ready for Swim Class is the chapter that apparently comes out this week, where Akane is just trying to learn to swim, and I think Miss Hinako tries to teach her to swim, and of course, I think she fails. And Akane at the end, she's finally like, "I'm doing it, Ranma. I'm swimming," because it's like there's this much water in the pool. Ranma's one of my favorite manga ever. I think it is my favorite manga because it's not my favorite anime, but Rumiko Takahashi's manga is unparalleled. I just love it. She's so good at doing humor and action, and is just so good. She's such a good storyteller in that medium, where like certain artists like Naoko Takeuchi, no backgrounds, and maybe it's her assistants, who knows, but it's just harder to follow her stuff. Like, if you didn't have words, you couldn't tell what the fuck was happening in a Sailor Moon comic. Ranma, remove the words, you can still follow the story. So that's definitely a tell for a good fucking artist. And she's a good writer. God, she's just so good. Like, when you look at her Urusei Yatsura, all the just like folklore that she includes, it's just brilliant. She's so good. She's my absolute favorite. My favorite two things she did, I think, were Ranma. I haven't actually watched enough Inuyasha, and I know people love Inuyasha, but I love Ranma, and I love Meisani Koku. That it's like just such a good romantic, sweet manga. So it's one of my favorites. So anyway, that is it for the comic books this week. So moving on to soaps, your favorite, my favorite. There's not as much to talk about those soaps wise this week because there's only so many episodes that I actually can find to watch. But Loving Was new, and in this episode, Egypt refuses to sign divorce papers for a guy who's like moved on, and Egypt's his ex-wife, and she's just this wacky, weird, like Calliope-esque character. I'm just getting to know the Loving cast, but that's what happens on this episode. So next up, Bold and the Beautiful over on CBS, I'm able to watch. And in this episode, Anthony, who is our former Lawrence Alamein over on Days of Our Lives, he's invited over to celebrate Spectrum's success. As I guess is that a magazine or a clothing? I think it's clothing, because it's all about Bold and the Beautiful. Apparently, is all about like fashion designers out in LA. It's very fabulous and just all about fashion. So I find it ironic that there's no gay characters on this show, though. Isn't that interesting? Anthony should be a raging homosexual, in my opinion. But nope, no fashion designers out in LA are gay. You would never find that. So that's Bold and the Beautiful. Next up, of course, The King, Days of Our Lives. In this episode, it's actually we had some guest appearances by Doug and Julie. They come back for Christmas, so this is their last episode before they leave to go back off on their cruises or whatever they're doing during the 90s, because they're not on the show unless it's a Christmas episode or a guest appearance. And it might be the last appearance of the Wings restaurant, which was opened, or I think, was it Shenanigans before? I forget what it was before Wings. It might have been Doug's Place and then Wings. I don't know. Those restaurants on days get so many facelifts, but I think in this episode, Julie leaves Wings to Maggie, who turns it into like Chez Rouge or something like that. I forget what she turns it into, but it becomes a new restaurant. I forget the name of it. But anyway, in this episode, the main thing going on, I guess, one of the plot lines is that Peter offers to fly Jennifer and Laura back to Chicago. Peter's been moving in on Jennifer, who there's drama there behind the scenes that Jennifer, the character, or not the character, the actress, and Peter had an affair in real life, apparently, and that's why Jennifer had to leave the show in the 90s. That's my inside gossip that I have no idea if it's true, but that's been the rumor for years. And I don't blame her. Peter's hot! He is so fucking hot. His real name is something Blake. Blake something... No, that's Peter Blake is his name, so I don't remember the actor's name. But he's just fucking gorgeous. He went on to do Baywatch, and of course has never been seen again. And when they brought Peter back to the show, they didn't even get this guy to come back. They got the guy who was in Teen Witch to play Peter. And he's hot, and I like him, but I was a little bit like, why didn't they get the OG Peter back? It's not like Jennifer's on the show, really. She comes back for guest appearances, but she's not there. I wish she'd come back full-time. I'd love her and Jack. But at this point in time in the show, Jack has left. They're about to recast him with Mark Valley. And Peter is moving in on Jennifer, who is recently, well, she's not quite divorced yet, but she's just like a single mother, and her husband has just left her, and he really likes her. So Peter's moving in on her. And he's kind of a bad guy, though. He's a Demera, an adopted son of Stefano Demera. So he's so hot, though, I'd fuck him. I don't care if he's a Demera. There's a lot of hot Demeras. Stefano might not be fuckable, but the rest of them are. All his children, we're fucking them. So anyway, that's Days of Our Lives. Another World also, of course, is new after Days. They're new every day. What do you want? So we're going to be talking a lot about soaps. They're new every fucking day. Some people don't know that. They don't get that it's an hour show that's new every fucking weekday. That's remarkable. So it's hard to keep up with shit like that. I'm watching every soap. There's no time in the day. But thanks to the internet, now there is. So anyway, in Another World, what's going on today on Tuesday the 4th is that Ian is pissed with Paulina, like I mentioned last episode, that this is when he finds her trapped in the closet with Jake. So Ian is the guy's name, played by Dr. Doom from Fantastic Four, the old Dr. Doom. And he's just gorgeous. But it's weird though, like I've been watching, I'm a little ahead of this, and he hasn't been seen. I'm like, did he already leave the show? Did he get pissed at her and then like take off? Because he's fucking hot. He should go to a lot bigger acting things. But unfortunately, yeah, I haven't seen him lately because Paulina goes off to New York to search for Rachel with Jake. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's it for our soaps this week. Short but sweet, don't worry. We're moving on to the TV shows of Tuesday, such as Full House, which is, I always remembered it being a big TGIF show. But apparently it was on Tuesdays longer. And when it first started, I don't remember if it was a Friday night show either, but I just remember it being a staple of TGIF. And it was only on for a couple years before they replaced it with like Step by Step and Family Matters. But I thought it was like Full House, then Step by Step. I just have a bad memory of it. So anyway, Full House is a terrible show, but I love it. I love Fuller House as well. It's so good. It's probably a better show. I cry at that one because it's so sweet. I love the characters. And it's just like it's one of the few reboots that's just really well done, and it's so perfect. But that's in 2014. It's 1994. So let's talk about season 6 of Full House? 7. No, might be the last season. Maybe there's one more after this. But this episode is It True About Stephanie? And shit, I did not look any of these up. Actually, let me hold on for a sec while I look up the episode descriptions so I can read them off to you. And we're back. Okay, I've looked up the or episode description. So the episode of Full House is It True About Stephanie? Where, there's a long description on IMDb. Let's see. After Stephanie makes a date with Gia's crush, Gia spreads a nasty rumor, prompting Stephanie to fight back with her own prank. Lovely. Danny's what does that even mean? Some of these descriptions are written by AI or something. Okay, Danny's behavior after his breakup with Vicky makes the rest of the family wonder if he's moi cracking up. What the fuck is this description? Sorry, I should use Wikipedia or something. But they don't always have a description. So, anyway, I remember this episode though, and it actually, I think it might have almost made me cry because Gia, I love that Gia is included in Fuller House and they bring her back, but Stephanie is really well. It's actually really lame though because I think Stephanie is like kind of does something kind of mean to Gia to get her back, and makes everybody like find out she can't read or just something really embarrassing that she didn't want everybody to know or that she um, failed a test or something. And so she posts it for everybody to see, and then Gia is so embarrassed, and she turns around to Stephanie though, and she's got these big fake fucking tears down her face, but it makes her cry. And when I see a bully cry, I shouldn't, but it upsets me. I don't like it. Like in that, what's that one movie, The Christmas Story, where the bully is so awful and nasty, the redhead kid, and then they beat him up and he's screaming, and I'm like, oh God, that poor baby. And everyone else is like, fuck that kid, kick him. No, I'm like, oh my God, I just feel so bad when a bully, the tables turn, and then they're frightened or scared or they scream or they're sad. It still breaks my heart. I don't like to see people upset, and I don't like to see people embarrassed. I don't like to watch things like American Idol where they embarrass people. It's just not my cup of tea. So I felt really bad for Gia, and luckily Stephanie did too, and made up. And I don't remember if they become friends in this episode, but obviously I don't believe it's the last we've seen of Gia. So, Vicky, though, Danny's girlfriend, she I think comes back in Fuller House too, which was fun. But I didn't even remember Vicky till I was rewatching it. When she showed up in Fuller House, I'm like, was she in the original show? And she was. They never did get married. He proposed at Disney World, but then this season, I guess, is when they like call it off and decide not to get married, which is too bad. Poor Danny. He deserves a happy ending, and I think he does get back with her in Fuller House, doesn't he? I'm not sure. I should rewatch it. Anyway, so that's Full House. Next up, Phenom. Oh my God, y'all! Did no one watch this show? Clearly, no one did because it only got one season. It was canceled. I love it. It's one of my favorites where, again, I'm like, why does John Larroquette get 4 seasons and Phenom gets 1? Phenom is so fucking funny. And it's got some amazing performances. Honestly, like, I hate to poo-poo on any actors, but the weakest link is the Phenom of the show, the tennis star that the show is centered around. Like, she's the most boring part of the show. Judith Light is, of course, Judith Light, so she's in this show, and we love her from Who's the Boss. So it's great that we get to see her again. But it's so confusing because Judith Light played Angela on Full House. Well, her daughter in this show is called Angela. So I'm always so confused when they talk about Angela. And I'm like, are they talking about Judith Light or are they talking about the tennis star? But they're talking about the tennis star. That's Angela in this show. But Judith Light has 3 children. And they're all, like, the other 2 are so fucking funny. Let me look up their names just because I want to give them a shout out because they're so fucking good. Angela, though, is played by, Angela Doolin. That's their family name. Her real name is also Angela Goethals. I didn't realize until I was watching this show when I was up at my mom's. And she goes, oh, that's that girl from Home Alone. I was like, oh, it is, isn't it? That's what she's, I think, most known for is when she's like, you're what the French call les incompetents. That's what I remember her saying. But yeah, that's what she did was Home Alone. And now she's doing this show. And Ashley Johnson is the breakout fucking star of this show, who's a child actress who's so fucking funny and so good. And she plays Mary Margaret in the show. I love her. I remember kind of like, for some reason, as a kid, I was way more judgmental of child actors and didn't like Harriet the Spy. I didn't like her. I didn't like Ashley Johnson on the few things I remember her being on. But watching her as an adult, I'm like, God, she's so good. She's brilliant. And she's so funny. She's carrying the show, honestly. Her and her brother, Brian Doolin, played by Todd Luiso, if that's how you say his name. He's fucking hilarious. He's like a spastic, like, anxiety-ridden mess, and he's just so funny. And it's crazy, too, because he's fairly young, but he's already got a receding hairline, and I noticed that at the beginning of the show. I'm like, he's in high school, and he's, like, losing his hair, but they actually address it in the show and mention that he might be 20 in real life. I forget how old he actually is during the filming of this, but I looked it up, and was like, God, yeah, he's already losing his hair, but it doesn't matter. He's so funny. And so is Mary Margaret. And the two of them really are the breakout stars of this show that make it so funny. And it really shouldn't center around the stupid tennis bullshit with the show because she's the phenom. because that's what's least interesting. The coach is funny though, played by William Devane. He plays Lou de la Rosa, and he's great. I love him, but it's those the two kids are just what are the funniest part of the show. And in this episode, it was Brian and the tennis star, where Coach Lou enlists the Doolans to host a French tennis star that he hopes to shelter from the wild side of Los Angeles. And of course, Brian starts like dating her. And for some reason, he's like, I think he's shocked too that she's into him because she's like really a pretty woman. And she's into Brian, neurotic, crazy Brian, but he's the best. And I really love this show. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Or I'm not guilty at all. It's a wonderful show, and I give it props. I'm so sad it was only one season, but I did get at least a full season. So of course, next after Phenom is Roseanne, my favorite fucking sitcom of all time. I know Roseanne is problematic. Don't come at me. But her show was brilliant television. It was so well done. Roseanne Connor is just an amazing character, and I love the Connors too. I love everything Roseanne. It's just such a good show. And right now we're in the middle of is it season 5, I think. No, it's season 6, and this episode is Suck Up or Shut Up. Where Roseanne decides to join the Lanford Women's Association to develop contacts for her restaurant, especially since Leon is opposed to her being the one to do it. And I love Leon. Leon's so great. I'm so mad they never brought him back for the Connors. Or that one season of Roseanne where she was actually on it before she got her ass fired. They should have brought Leon back. Maybe they asked and he said no. I'm just so sad that they never brought him back and then he passed away. It just sucks because he was so funny as Leon. And him and Roseanne together were just our gold on screen every time. So anyway, so Roseanne makes DJ play with one member's weird son, Elijah, and Dan discovers that Mark has dropped. Sorry, it had me read more. I had to click on it. Has dropped out of school and is spending those evenings at the Lobo Lounge. In a special cameo skit at the end, the famous Luke and Laura from General Hospital compare hardships with Dan and Roseanne. So that's funny to see them crossing over onto Roseanne of all things. But other notable guest stars in this episode, of course, Sandra Bernhard was a regular, but it was Florence Henderson played, as you can see in the image, she was Elijah's mother she played Flo Anderson. I was wondering if Elijah was played by Nicholas Maist. I've never heard of him, and I don't think he's really done anything else. I was just wondering if maybe he's one of those crazy like cameos that eventually went on to do more. And it's like some big actor now, but no, I don't think Elijah is. I certainly have never heard of him. But this was a cute episode, though. I really always enjoy when Roseanne, like I love the scene, like which is shown here in the image, where they come in and Florence Henderson is like, DJ called Elijah a naughty name or something like that, and Roseanne pretends to be mad at DJ. And she goes up to him and I'm like, I'm gonna pretend to yell at you, so just go along with it. It's just like a great scene, and I love their relationship. It's so funny. And the show is still good at this point. My hotspot for Roseanne is seasons 3 through 4 when she works at the Lanford, not the Lanford lunchbox. I do love when this is the lunchbox here. At the mall, when she works at the mall, the diner, and she's got Bonnie and she's working with Leon. Those are my favorite years. They're just so good and well written, and Becky's still there, and then it's still good after in seasons 5 and 6, but I just felt like Roseanne became less vulnerable, even though there's some good stuff, don't get me wrong. I'm sad like I've missed, or there's a couple episodes that I was crying talking about because they were so powerful, like the one where she hits DJ, because I was recording my podcast that will never see the light of day, talking about that episode where Roseanne hit DJ and her performance was just so good. Or the one where Jackie gets beat up, that's another one where I talking about it, I was choking up. It's such a good show and it's really well done, and people I think underestimate it just because Roseanne's such a joke, especially in the 90s. She was just always lampooned and made fun of for her weight and her voice and whatever else, but her show was fucking good, and there's a reason they won Emmys, and there's a reason it went on as long as it did. It just sucks how it got so bad by, I think, season 9 was the Lotto season. It's terrible stuff, but Roseanne is my favorite sitcom. It is all available on Peacock. I recommend you fucking go watch it. Even though they're like shortened versions that have weird cuts where they cut out stuff to make it like shorter. It's odd. But it's my favorite sitcom ever. The writing is just phenomenal. And then the acting too. Roseanne's just brilliant in it. So, and I love DJ. I love the whole show. It's just everybody's so good. So anyway, that's Roseanne for the day. Next, this was when Saved by the Bell: The College Years was on TV, and this is a good show. And unfortunately, it only lasted one season. And I'll tell you why. It's because they didn't fucking put. Did you see Lisa in that cast? No, you don't. That's why it fucking didn't work. I think it could work without Jesse, but I think Lisa was the missing link that just they could have taken out Leslie on the end there and put Lisa in instead. It just did not work without her. I thought it was a big mistake. At least they brought Kelly in, because originally they didn't even have Kelly. It was just Zach, Screech, and Slater go to college. They get new girls. Apparently they're replaceable. And luckily, though, by the time they premiered the show in the fall, they had added Kelly to the cast. Because I think the first episode, the pilot, premiered right after the last episode of Saved by the Bell, and it was like a primetime finale, and then they aired the college years premiere, but it didn't. That was just like a sneak peek. So I do love the show though, and I'm sad it didn't last. But like I said, I think if they had had Lisa in it, it would have lasted. But the episode that aired this week, it's called The Rave. It's so stupid. God. It is cheesy. I mean, Saved by the Bell was always kind of cheesy, but I still think it's a solid show because of the characters. You love Zach, you love Screech, you love Slater, you love Kelly, and you love who's the other one? The one right by Screech? I forget her name, but I like her. She's the comic relief, and she's really funny, and she kind of plays a ditzier character. Kind of like Screech, but she has a romance with Slater. She's kind of like the new Jessie, but it works. I dig her. It probably would have been better if Elizabeth Berkley was there too. I do love her, don't get me wrong, but it's really Lisa. Lisa was there from the fucking start, and they get rid of her. Fuck you. She, Screech, and Zach are the OGs, and I'm mad they didn't bring her. But at least I get to enjoy her on Days of Our Lives right now. That's where she went. Everybody else went to Saved by the Bell. Poor Lark Voorhees went to fucking Days of Our Lives. But hey, I think it's an upgrade, though. I think she's almost about to leave the show. And then I don't know what Elizabeth Berkley did until she did do a guest star on Baywatch. I don't know if that was after the show ended. She of course goes on to do Showgirls. But anyway, so The Rave is about with Mike gone and in need of money for a trip to Cancun, Zach and the gang stage a rave in the dorm. But I think something happens and they have to like move it somewhere, and then the dean is trying to shut it down. Who I love the dean. She's played by the legendary Holland Taylor, who was in Legally Blonde. I love her in that. She's so good, and she's so good in this too. She was also in this show that got canceled. God, it had Niles from Frasier in it, and it was just like 2 seasons. Wasn't that great, but she was really good in it. John Forsythe was in it. I can't remember what it was called. It was like Fortune and Glory or I forget. That's not it. That's absolutely not it. But anyway, she was really good in that. So that's our Saved by the Bell: The College Years though. So next up we've got the John Larroquette Show. This is also NBC. For some reason they gave John Larroquette and Harry shows, and they're not that good, but they lasted several seasons. I don't know why. I guess familiarity is good. I don't know. But this is not my favorite show. It can be funny sometimes. I don't mind John Larroquette. And the other person I really like, oh shoot, did I not bring this one up? Oh no, The Big Slip. I guess sorry. The Big Slip is the episode of John Larroquette. Liz Torres. She's the character I really like. She's a Latina woman, plays Mahalia Sanchez, and she's really funny. But everybody else is pretty forgettable. But it's all about John Larroquette plays John Hemingway, and he's basically a recovering alcoholic who's now running this like bus depot. And it's kind of like just shitty ghetto, not very nice, but it's just a lot of it has to do with his struggles as a former addict, and I'm just not interested in that. It's something I guess I don't like. I mean, addiction affects us all. It's certainly affected my life in the recent months. Just people in my life. I've known addicts, and it's definitely an important, I guess, thing to shed light on and put on TV, and so we can relate to it. But I find it like I'm exhausted. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see TV shows about it, and it's just overdone. I feel like they do it all the time, especially on dramas. Like it's gonna start where Allison's gonna be an alcoholic, and then of course Kelly gets addicted to cocaine, and then everyone's always getting an addiction on shows, and I just kind of find it like boring and overdone. I know it's a serious issue, and we deal with it a lot in real life. We're all affected by it, and but it's a downer for me, and I don't want to necessarily watch downers. So that's maybe one of the reasons I don't like the John Larroquette show that much. But it can be funny. There was like there was a really funny like gay episode where he wasn't sure if he was gay, and I liked that one. But this one is The Big Slip, where John is ordered to train his boss's unconventional nephew for a job at the bus station, and it turns out that his eccentric behavior is a result of a year in AA. Meanwhile, see, everything goes back to his stupid AA, and it's just like everything revolves around his addiction. Meanwhile, Carly wants to take over the stand because of Dexter's shoulder injury. And when Max and Eve are off duty, ... read more, they accidentally run into each other in the bar and don't recognize each other. So, anyway, that's the John Larroquette show. It's something I have to like. I have to watch while doing something because I don't want to sit down and watch it. It's just not very good. Next up, we've got Valerie Bertinelli's show Cafe Americain. I actually do enjoy this show. It's not the best, but I do enjoy the cast. It's cute. It's all about Valerie Bertinelli has just gotten out of like a bad relationship, possibly divorced, and has moved to Paris to like rediscover herself and write. And so she gets a job at this little Cafe Americain or whatever it's called, which is like an American where Americans go to get coffee and stuff or whatever, eat. And it's run by an American. So she gets a job as a waitress there, and then we've of course got a lot of the customers, like this eccentric bunch of people, and one of them is a super racist Asian stereotype. She doesn't show up that much, probably because they realize she's just a terrible stereotype. So I don't think she's in. Oh no, she is. Madame Ybarra, if that's how you say her name, is played by Jodie Long, who I think I recognize because I think she played Margaret Cho's mother on her sitcom, which I can't wait to get to. And I love her, but it's just she's playing like I think it's a stereotype of a dictator's wife, and so she's just kind of unhinged and always saying stuff that's pretty unrealistic and just stupid. But Valerie Bertinelli plays Holly, and she has a love interest on the show, Marcel, who's played by Maurice Godin, however you say his name. And then a couple other people that I don't believe I've really seen do much else. But it's cute, and I love the Valerie's Bertinelli and Maurice together. They've got good chemistry, and it's kind of a will they or won't they situation with them. But in this one, I think I guess they start dating because Holly's conflicted and Marcel is hurt when she agrees to go on a date with a hunky customer. So they just can't commit, of course. But I like this show. It's cute. I like it more than the John Larroquette show. But that is her show. I guess I didn't include the graphic, but there was also an episode of The Good Life that was on. Because I guess it actually it had its premiere the day before, but then its actual time slot I think is Tuesday. So Maureen's play was today for The Good Life. That's that show with what's his name? Drew Carey was in it for a little bit, and Justin Burfield. So Maureen's play, though, is about John acts on his fears after mistaking the symbolism in the play that Maureen writes. So that's that. And then last but not least, we have Conan O'Brien, which I did not get to. I don't think I had this episode, but it says the guests were Hannah Storm, Robert Vaughn, who is photoed here, and Richard Reeves. But I don't think Robert Vaughn was the guest, because that is Robert Vaughn, right? He was just on the show all the time. I don't know if he came in one day and just kept giving speeches that are like, Conan will all of a sudden cut to an audience question, and he comes on and he's like, do you ever wonder if life is meaningless? And gives some like speech that's like super serious and dark, and like you're alone in the world. It's like kind of just fucked up, and it's just random, which is like Conan's brand. But it's always really funny when he pops up. But it's like almost every episode he just asks questions from the audience, and it's Robert Vaughn. Anyway, so that's it though for the week, or I'm sorry, for our Tuesday the 4th. So we'll be back though next week to cover Wednesday, January 5th, that is when we will talk Melrose and a lot of other great shows that come out on our Wednesday night, at least in 1994 January. So thank you for watching, and come back next week when we continue our gigantic rewatch of 1994 on Let's Gay 1994.